Well, I've arrived in Tunisia, and I've been told to meet an historian at Majez El Bab, close to the marketplace. Pretty good with directions, so at the moment I'm just following the signs to Majez. Majez El Bab, here we go. This is Majez El Bab. I thought it'd just be a little town. That's quite big. I've got to find a marketplace. They speak French here, don't they? Où est le marché? Marché. My French is useless. It's even worse than my English. This looks market-like. Excusez-moi. Où est le marché?
Voilà, juste à gauche.
À gauche. Ah, merci. That means left. I feel strange that I'm in the same place, actually, as my granddad walked 70 years ago or so. He was a grocer's assistant. He probably would have found all this quite fascinating. It's a bit different from Birkenhead Market.
North Africa was fiercely fought over in the Second World War. But by April 1943, the Allies had cornered the Germans in Tunisia. Fresh from training, Norman arrived a month before a planned offensive to try to take the capital Tunis and finally force the Germans out of Africa.
I was looking through some of my granddad's letters back home, and I found this one. This is the first one. And it's obviously a pre-written letter which you delete to make out to be a letter because they can't give any information away to the enemy. What it's basically said is, I'm quite well. I've received no letter from you lately. Now, my granddad would have been here less than a month. He's scared about what's going to happen and writing to his new wife, Amy, my nan. And he wants my nan to write. He's really worried, bless him. And he was here.
Paul is meeting Professor Lloyd Clark.
You must be Paul.
Hello, Lloyd. You must be Lloyd.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, fantastic to meet you. Now, I know my granddad came to Tunisia. Can you fill any gaps here? And more strategically, why did they come here in the first place?
Throughout your grandfather's training, he would have had a sense that he was being prepared for a great offensive action. And when he came here, he would have had a good sense again that he was going to be put in the front line to do something important. Hitler and Mussolini have made it absolutely clear that they will continue to hold on to North Africa and Tunisia itself. And when backed into a corner with no thought of surrendering, the one thing that the Germans are going to do is fight extremely hard. They're fighting for their survival. From the moment your grandfather gets here through to the moment that he attacks in late April, he would have been extremely anxious, just waiting for the off.
We are in this bowl outside of Tunis at the moment. Do you know roughly where he was?
He would have known this town, but actually the actions that he took part in for the push towards Tunis are just to the east. So I think a good idea, we'll get in the car and we'll go and have a look.
Okay, buddy. Lead the way. We're really going off-road here, mate. Where are you taking me?
All right, this is Banana Ridge.
Banana Ridge?
Banana Ridge, yeah. And every bit of high ground was given a name. Because this is banana shaped, the troops really used their imagination and called it Banana Ridge.
Didn't they?
So just here, that's perfect. So the Germans are in front of us here in this piece of flatter ground. So we have Majez over there, just to our left, with that line of mountain going across our front. That was German-held territory.
Yeah.
And about 25 miles beyond that is the prize, Tunis. I've got a map here that can just give you a little bit more detail. So we're just standing here by the R of ridge, but your grandfather was actually positioned just behind it. He was being protected by the ridge, and he had a very important job of also protecting the 1st British Division. And so his area can be seen today, and it's exactly as it was back in 1943.
Can we go up there?
Let's go.
I'd love to see that. To be in the actual place where my granddad was.
In his actual position.
A few days before the push on Tunis, Norman moved to his position behind Banana Ridge to prepare for his first major battle.
So here we are. Your grandfather was in this area that we're standing in now. You're looking at what he would have looked at. You're standing on ground that he would have stood on. He was in the 90th Light Anti-Aircraft Regiment.
So he would have set up here specifically looking for German aircraft?
Yeah.
I've always had a fascination looking at the skies. When I go up to the mountains and he's looking up the skies, love all that fascination with planes. I wonder where I got that from.
He had an absolutely critical role in the division, and he fought on a Bofors gun, a 40mm Bofors gun.
That's a big one.
As a Lance Sergeant, Norman was second in command on the Bofors gun in a close-knit team of 5. A formidable weapon, firing 120 rounds a minute up to a height of 23,000 feet, the Bofors posed a huge threat to enemy aircraft. And this made Norman a key target. But Norman's gun provided cover for the infantry, and his orders were to stay by it at all costs. Taking cover was not an option.
Stuka dive bomber screaming at you, 300 miles an hour, dropping their bombs 500 feet on your grandfather and his mates.
That was their target, wasn't it?
That's their job. And to sit there and keep firing that gun and not move from it.
Jeez.
We can take you to the night of the 20th, 21st of April, 1943. So it's just a day before the major offensive. And that night they get a message that some German divisions look as though they're going to put in a counterattack on this position, a spoiling attack, to upset the preparations, to get inside the heads of those that might be doing the attacking. And in this isolated area, you can see that potentially we're quite vulnerable. The Germans aren't going to come across over the top of the ridge, but what they can do, because we can't see them, is they can come around the sides.
Yeah.
We know that there were the parts of 2 German divisions that were involved in the attack against your grandfather's position here.
How many men are you looking at, roughly?
We're looking at hundreds. The thing is, though, it's in the middle of the night, and it's very difficult to gauge exactly how many troops are involved, how many tanks. We think perhaps 80 tanks.
Jeez, coming round.
Coming round here. This whole position around Banana Ridge, they are battle-hardened troops. And if we think about your grandfather's division, they're all relatively new to this. And they are attacked in the middle of the night in this incredibly intense and frightening episode. And your grandfather was right in the middle of it.